Now you're saying what I've done for myself, right? It's a lot, but I'll try to make public the ones that I want to make public. Even the ones that I've never made public on certain platforms, I'll try and make them public here as well. Now, where do I even start from? Properties. Properties are the most important for me, though. It's what gives you that solid foundation, right? I have vast amount of properties, landed properties. I have acres of land, that I have like some specific projects I'm doing for. I have a real estate company back home, very huge one, yeah, that are doing massive stuff. I literally built my own house, and I was using my house as a prototype for what I wanted to do. Right? So my
Wow.
first house I bought them, right? I have an apartment, I bought them. I have a house that I bought, and then I have it's a villa, right? A huge house that I built, but I built that house more like a challenge for what's going to come off from my project, my real estate company. My real estate company is called Swift Development, right? Now, if you understand the real meaning of the word Swift, it's like fast, right? So if you look at that huge house, and then anybody who's been in construction for a long time asks them, how long do you think this is going to take? They're going to tell you, like, I've taken bare minimum 1 year or 2 years or stuff like that. It literally took me about 4 months.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Calvin, the new trader. We are back again with an interview. And today's guest, I'm super excited because so many of my fellow new beginner developing trading family, you guys have been asking about this trade, all right? You guys have been asking, Calvin, you got to get more of our African brothers on the podcast. And this particular trader right here has been highly requested. And I'm so thankful that he has given us a little bit of his time today. And I'm just excited, man. This young brother right here not only is encouraging people from all walks of life that you can do it. You can make it in this industry if you learn and you dedicate yourself to the journey. He's not only inspiring us, motivating us, but he's an example that it is possible. So ladies and gentlemen, without further delay, welcome Kojo Forex to the podcast. What's up, Kojo? How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, Kelvin. It's a pleasure to be on your platform. I mean, to share my vast knowledge and experience over the years. I mean, we've been doing inspirational stuff and then putting in hard work. So I've seen what you've been doing as well. I've been watching a few of your videos. So being able to be on your platform now and then to share my part of, my experience and journey for new entrants, traders. I mean, it's a pleasure. So I'm happy to be here as well.
What's up, trading family? Listen, before we jump into this podcast episode, I wanted to let you know that this is not only a podcast on YouTube, we also have an audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you can listen to audio podcasts. And on the audio podcast, we release episodes every single day. That's right. If you're driving to and from work, you're doing chores around the house, maybe you're at the gym, you can tune in each and every day for a new audio episode of the Forex Beginner Podcast. That's where you can get that motivation, that inspiration. I share the details of my personal journey when I'm losing, when I'm winning, when I'm dealing with psychological problems. All of that stuff is on the audio podcast. That's motivation that can keep you going on your journey because you can see that, hey, we're all on the journey. We're all trying to figure it out. So listen, if you didn't know, make sure you head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to audio podcasts and get subscribed to the Forex Beginner Podcast, the audio side, so you never miss an update of inspiration. Now, let's get into this amazing podcast interview. Yes, man, it is an honor to have you, bro. Like I said before we got on, what you are doing, man, bringing hope, and you are touching so many people's lives. And let me tell you something, brother. The people are being impacted by what you're doing. So I don't care what any negative comment says. I don't care what anybody's opinion is. I'm telling you right now, bro, I have so many messages, so many emails. Get Kojo on the platform. So my brother, you keep doing what you're doing because we absolutely are loving it. Now, I want to dig into this, bro, because you have such a different perspective when it comes to this skill set. You actually went to school to actually be a investment banker. You weren't just a guy that just stumbled upon Forex and was like, maybe I'll do this. You actually had plans to make a lot of money and you went to school to be involved in the financial industry. Can you talk to us about what type of knowledge or what type of exposure to wealth and finances did you have early on that made you say to yourself, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be in this financial industry one way or another?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So personally, when it comes to me, education is important in my family. We don't underestimate the importance of education in my family. My father is an academician. My uncles are professors, and then I have a few doctors and like basically like people of career path in my family. So it's like we don't underestimate the level of high-end education that you need to get. But now shifting it into business, my father is also, I'd say he's a policeman though, and then again an educationist. So in the police service, they have like people that teach in the police service. He's one of those people that will teach new entrant policemen. So it's like he is a teacher before he entered the police service, and he's also a teacher in the police service as well, in Ghana as well. And for him, it's like he's had a good perspective of life and then direction towards making money. And it's always been his, I'll say, notion or hard-earned idea that you need to have studied business to make a lot of money. Now, my talent is art, right? And then I'll connect it to how it even helps in my trading. My talent is art, right? I like technical stuffs. I used to be very good at in junior high school. We had a subject in Ghana. It's also pretty much in most of West African countries. They call it the pre-technical skills, right? So it's like a skill set that you need, especially if you want to go into architectural career, like drawing houses and buildings and stuff like that. I had that skill set, more like a talent. It came to me very easy, and that's what I wanted to do. And I see my dad literally imposed, business. I'm like, no, I don't know anybody who's made money. I want you to go and study business. I'm like, no problem. I mean, he's the one paying the fees, so I can't complain. Like, no problem. And it didn't come as a problem to me. Some kids, when their parent direct them to somewhere, it can become like a huge feud between the parent and the child, because the child's like, I don't want to study medicine. Why do you want me to study medicine?
Yeah.
But me, I felt like I had the brains to study any course model that you put me into. Early on, you see, one realization with myself is that I knew my capabilities very early, and I didn't also wait for anybody to tell me. For some people, it's like we are so trained to be so modest that you cannot even recognize your own self that you are smart or you are intelligent. For me, I just knew that like God gave me that gift. I did not bestow it upon myself. Like I knew that if I learn, the understanding comes as easy than most of my colleagues would grasp it on the first hand. So it's like I felt early on as a childhood with that orientation that anywhere you put me, even if you say, hey, Kojo, I want you to go study medicine, I can just fit in. Go study physics. So when my dad said, go study business, I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm going to do it. Now, in that school, we had about 4 business classes, right? Now, there was one that was particularly prioritized. It did elective maths. It's like one of the hardest mathematics you can do around in Africa. And then you need to write an aptitude test, and then a few best students are going to be selected to that class. And then I wrote that test and I was selected. So like my class generally had always been that extremely competitive class, But when I went into that class, I fell in love with business. I realized that like there's so many, it's like life in itself is business, like living life in itself, how to manage your money, how to manage your finances. Like it doesn't matter if you're a pharmacist, a doctor, an electrician, a plumber, you need some, basic financial skills to be able to thrive and become successful in life. So being that I started learning about all those stuff, I'm like, I might as well have been lucky to be in this place in the first place. And then because of that, I turned all energy and focus into really learning, not only about school stuff, more like, okay, chill, regurgitate, and write exams and pass. I'm like, I want to understand the practical aspects of all of these things that I was doing, So like when I go to school, I'm always like reading books that affect entrepreneurship and then relates back to the course that I'm studying. If you're studying entrepreneurship, I'm like, how can I use this? If you're studying financial management, I'm like, how can I use this? If you're studying macroeconomics, I'm like, how can I apply this in real world? And then what also came in handy in my pursuit still learning business was that I started really only predominantly watching business inclined movies. You know, I'm not a fan of anime. I'm not a fan of sci-fi. I'm not a fan of all this novel love. And I just want anything that is related to like business. I think, you know, like trading business or finance or accounting. Like, and they know there are a lot of movies that are produced in that, you know, I'd say niche or they're almost always producing some novel love and stuff. So the few ones that are out there, they're really good. You know, we have the Boiler Room, we have the Rogue Trader of Wall Street. You know, so you watch those movies and like the moment you're a little bit more in business inclined in terms of like your experience academia or whatever it is that you're watching this type of movies, you know, you tend to, you know, feel more into those movies than somebody who is in a different I'd say who has a different background or a different come from a different, you know, let's say somebody who's doing what's the name? For somebody who is doing law, they would love Suit, you know, but for somebody who is doing, let me say, chemical engineering or something, they would love that series, but it's not really going to be too, you know, and for somebody who's doing, let's say, business, if they're watching the series Billions, they're going to love Billions. But for somebody who's doing, let's say, biology or something, they're watching Billions, they're talking about stocks and, you know, trading and unless you really have that interest, you're not really going to be. So I started loving those movies as well, you know. And so what even made it extremely more interesting for me was the lifestyle that they portrayed there. You know, I'm not going to sit here and lie, but the lifestyle heavily attracted me. I'm a man that cherishes, you know, maximizing life's potential, you know, enjoying the good things of life. Anytime I'm on the internet, I'm on YouTube, I'm watching any video, like if this man is flying around in private jet, you know, living in huge mansion, driving huge cars, they're more human than me, you know.
Come on, that's
like
it.
we all have blood flowing through us, we all have two eyes, we all have, you know, mouth to speak, we all have hands to act, we have brains to think, you know. So, and life in itself is basically very short, you know. Like I can't quite remember the last time I was like, let's say like 15 years, and now suddenly I'm like 30 years, you know, 2 times 15 years already. Before you know it, Kelvin, I'm like approaching 40 years already. So life in itself generally is very short, you know. So why not, you know, maximize your living when you have the time on earth, you know. So I don't also more like I'd say I'm not extremely a materialistic person. Like in all us, I still have to have it, but I still exert my potential to get to enjoy the good things of life and then make life extremely easy. So coming to business, I realized that like it makes it extra, I'd say, smoother than so many other spheres do, you know. And of course, you know, we have like some dentists, some different spheres of occupation that do well, but at the end of the day, they have like an accountant who's managing their money, you know. So imagine that you're an entrepreneur or you're a businessman, and then you still understand your books, you still understand your finances, you know. It's like you have the competitive advantage in the first place. And nobody can say any shit, and you're not really going to understand. You know, you understand everything that is being set out. Linking it to the market and linking it to the professional space, you know, of course, like from all the conversations we have, you see that I've had like so much insight into looking into these spheres and understand this is where the real money is, you know. I was blessed to also really come off the notion that the financial market is what really controls the world. You know, the world, I like to tell my people, the world revolves around the financial market. And something that I perceived or cultivated very early on, you know, before I even like got so engrossed in trading, I realized that like everything is, if you're talking about recession, if you're talking about inflation, if you're talking about everything in the economy is related to the financial market. You know, this is a field that really moves the market or really moves the world, then why not like be so involved in it? And then comes, we're talking about investment bankers, we're talking about hedge funds, we're talking about stuff. And when I was doing business, right, in the investment business school, I specifically opted for the accounting option, right? Also because that was what my dad wanted me to do. Today we look back and I tell him that, what, I realized that you wanted me to really go through the route of business to make money or be successful, but the specialization that you made me choose, it's not exactly the one that would have, killed the deal for me, because accounting is very rigid. Accounting doesn't let you do any flexibility and stuff. Accounting has its own set principle. You're doing we have something we call GAAP, right? Generally accepted accounting principles. It's like a rules and procedure set that, okay, balance this, fix this figure here, do this here. You cannot say, okay, I'm Kojo, I'm flexible, I introduce something new, let's follow this procedure. It doesn't exist in accounting. It's really rigid. Yep. But finance, you can be flexible. Finance allows you to be very, very flexible. And funny thing is that I was doing well so much in my finance courses than I was doing in my accounting courses, even though account was my specialty. So when I was done with uni, I'm like, I'm not going to go into accounting anymore. Most of my colleagues, they studied accounting to become professionals in auditing firms and then have their chartered accountants. We have the ACCA, which is a global charter. We have the ICA in Ghana and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want any of those things. This is where I end my accounting career. I want to go into the professional space of like trading and stuff. And luckily for me, I had already started trading from there on, because I started trading my first year in uni. But now I realized also that from the place that I was coming from, it was extremely easy. It was extremely difficult to get to the level that I really wanted to get to, which is like the Wall Street level in life, because that was where all the movies that I was watching were related to, like the Wall Street, like you're seeing these guys killing huge deals. And I realized that even in that level, for the most part, every movie that I watched or any person that I was looking up to, they had a specific branch in that, financial space that they were more heavily into, which came to the hedge fund space, right? Now I researched about hedge funds in my sub-region. To your surprise, there wasn't anyone I could even point my hands on. Like, how come? Like, in part of the world where like internet it's not even a problem anymore. I mean, I know that in the foreign world, in the North American stuff like that, people have some very dark perspective about Africa, but things have heavily changed, So I was expecting that I'd find like, some of these firms and stuff like they were nowhere to be found. Those that were there were extremely secretive, not even going to be able to identify where their offices were. So like, I might as well, start from where I am now and get to that place. So when I ended my finance background, my accounting background, like everything I'm going to do thereon is going to be finance inclined. And then it came on with not only like academic studies, but also networking. Speaking with people abroad, speaking with people in the investment world, like I'm almost always connecting, but I got to also accept and appreciate where I was, which is like the retail space, So like now, if you ask me what I do, we all analyze our chart on TradingView, we all take our trades on the MT4, we all analyze our trend lines and stuff like that. But if you go deep into the investment banking world, hedge fund world, you realize that it's extremely different. It's totally different from what we do. But you can say that you want to skip the process, especially if you know your circumstance. So you have to do well where you are, and then you link it towards like where you're going. So it's kind of be like a lengthy journey with me, if you ask me. I mean, let me just cut it short here. We'll continue with more the more you ask.
No, man, that is perfect, Kojo. Listen, bro, that right there is perfect simply because it's showing the in-depth process of how deep you go when you do things, right? What's up, traders? It's your boy Calvin, the new trader. Sorry for interrupting today's podcast episode, but did you know that one of the reasons that traders like you and I fail our prop firm challenges is simply because we violate our daily drawdown? And more specifically than that, a lot of times we violate our daily drawdown not even knowing that we're breaching the account. We just get these emails and we get notified and we're like, oh man, how did I do that? I didn't know that I was near my daily drawdown. But there is a solution to this problem. And when you're looking to get funded, you want to rock with a prop firm that is making the journey easier for you. And one prop firm that is doing that is Blue Guardian. Now, Blue Guardian has this tool called the Guardian Protector. And what the Guardian Protector does is it allows you to place a limit right before your daily drawdown so that regardless of if you know where you are or if you don't know where you are or if you forget to set a stop loss, that Guardian Protector will take you out of a trade before you violate your daily drawdown on your account, which ultimately allows you to live to trade another day and have another shot at actually becoming a funded trader. Also, Blue Guardian has no restrictions on their trading. You don't have to set a stop loss. You can hold over the weekend. You can trade whenever you want. You can use EAs. All of that stuff is permissible when trading with Blue Guardian. These things, the Guardian Protector, no restrictions, are things that make traders like me feel confident in working with the prop firm. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in getting started with my recommended prop firm, Blue Guardian, click the link in the description and use coupon code NEWTRADER1 to get 10% off your next challenge today. Again, that's coupon code NEWTRADER, the number 1, to get 10% off your next prop firm challenge with Blue Guardian today. And so a couple things you pulled out, because number one, I'm a dad, right? I have 2 little boys. My wife is pregnant now. We're expecting a third, but I grew up without a dad. I didn't have a dad. So for you, hearing you talk about the impact and the influence that your dad has had in your life, guiding you, making sure that you are set up the right way, just making sure that you're in the right areas, right? How just growing up, like, did you see friends that didn't have a dad around? And did you appreciate having your dad around, guiding you and protecting you and looking out for your well-being early on? Or is it something that now you look back and you say, man, I was really blessed to have a dad like that?
So tell you the truth, I like this question. I mean, I don't think anybody has asked me in a very public forum like this. But yes, I did realize early on, and then I did appreciate it a lot. You know, with the question you asked, which is like, did I have friends who didn't have like their dads in their life? Yes, I had friends who didn't have like their dads. My best friend, right? My very best friend, he was being taken care of by his mom alone. You know, his dad was not dead, but his mom was the only one pretty much doing the mom and dad. You know, you'd be surprised that when it's Father's Day, they take their mom out, you know.
Yeah. That was me. That was something I did.
So I did appreciate, you know, and not only that, I also had friends whose dad were with them. They lived in the same house, you know, but their dad was not involved in their life. You know, it's not as if their dad was not there. Like my other friend, his dad was not there at all. He was not living with them. But the other one, his dad was there, mom was there, but like mom was the man of the house. It's not as if the dad was not doing much, but he was barely having any control of the or influence in the family. And I saw these things because I'd always visit these people. But my dad and me, we're like best friends. We still are best friends. You know, we still are best. I don't appreciate any. He's my best friend more than any friend that I've had. You know, the conversations we have, it's deep. You know, I don't think that so many people have that relationship with a parent. Do it's like 1% out of the many that I have, and I do appreciate. You see, he always just emphasized the fact that for as far as he is alive, whatever means it's gonna demand or take me to get to any level that I want to get to. If it took him selling all his properties to push me there, he's going to do that. Only when I qualify. Only when I qualify. You know, I had some challenges very early on in my university, very first year in university. You know, the program that I wanted to study wasn't what they gave me because I was short of by the cutoff by 1 mark. You know, it was a very competitive. It's like my school was like the Harvard of the US. If you're in Ghana, if you're studying from the University of Ghana business, because like you're in US and then you're in Harvard, basically, you know. So it was extremely competitive, and I missed the mark by 1. But there wasn't any program that I wanted to study because I had already been initiated into the business world. So I didn't want to deviate into any program. This man went every means possible to still get me. to still pursue that program. And I heavily appreciated that impact. And one thing that I loved about him is that, let's say we're vacating on 1st January, and then we're supposed to go back to school on 30th February, right? By let's say 10th January, he's already giving me my school fees for the next semester, which is already starting 30th February. He would give me my school fees proud. You just like, start buying this, go buy this. Like, so there wasn't any single time in my life where I was sacked out of school and said, go bring some school fees, or go do, like, everything was like so smooth for me. And then it was all from his influence. I'm not gonna lie. He played a very significant and pivotal, role in my life, even to where I am now. And yes, I mean, it's insane the influence he had.
That is awesome, man. Hearing you talk about your dad, bro, like, that's what I want my kids to say about me one day. Like, seriously, man. How old are you, Kojo?
I'm 30, actually. I'm 30
Oh,
years.
you're 30, bro. You look like you're 20, bro. You look good. You got good genes, bro. Wow. So do you plan on having kids one day?
I have one daughter.
Oh, you have a daughter. How old is your daughter?
She is. I'm laughing because I have kept her gender away from the internet, but I've said it here. She is 2 months old.
Wow. First of all, congratulations, man. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you, bro. And second of all, man, thank you for sharing that with us, man. Like, bro, we're just vibing right now, bro. We're just vibing, and like everything you said so far is setting the stage for why you are who you are in this industry, bro, because you were taught early on that whatever you do, you put your all into it. So as I'm hearing you go through your story, I'm like, man, he was like, from being raised, it was instilled in him that, yo, whatever we do, we become professionals. Like you talked about, you have doctors in your family and your dad was an educator with the police department. Like you're talking about business people in your family. Like there was a standard set for you that, yo, whatever we do, we finish and we are the best at it. We are professionals at it.
So in my family, right, we have like two sects. I'd say the best way to explain is like two sects. We have the far end extreme poverty, right? And then we have the far end extreme riches, And then my family in particular were like in the middle. Neither were we extremely rich, neither were we extremely poor either, right? But like I'd visit some relatives who don't even have what to eat the next day, trust me. And then I visited some relatives who were living in crazy, huge mansion with crazy cars in their compound. So I did experience the two sect of life and its orientation. I knew what it was to not have what to eat, because sometimes I'd visit those who didn't have nothing and then go live with them for about a week, 2 weeks, and then struggle with them as if like this is my reality. I didn't feel any bigger. I just wanted to experience it. I really wanted to love being with them. We're setting firewoods to cook some local stuff, and then after like a week or two, when my mom comes for me, the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the other rich side was also like, okay, Kojo, are you going to visit us? Then I go there and everything's like affluence. I'm like playing video games, playing with the kids in the lobby. Like, so it gave me a really different orientation in life. I could tell the real attitude and mindset of those who were on the far end of lack and poverty. And I could tell the real edge and mindset and orientation of those who are really, and I told myself that I got to like, of course, both of them had their own, merit and demerit, because those on the poverty side, they had that, extreme, I'd say, humility, which is like the positive side that I got to pick. But what they also didn't have is perseverance. They're always okay with what they have, right? But the extreme rich people, of course, they were not always humble. Some of them were extremely, arrogant. But what they incredibly had was excellence and perseverance, and then that was also what I decided like inculcate and then be like the best of the two sides, and then like more like grow out of that experience. So So sometimes I share stories of like, having nothing with people. And sometimes I also share that part of my family which had like, and I feel like life is all about balance. I tell people that for you to have the best experience in life, in trading, in basically anything, you must just find that sweet spot between the middle. I intend to even write a deep book about balance, the word balance. I don't think that is emphasized enough, because like you cannot be too good or you cannot decide to be too bad. You got to find that sweet spot between the two. And then that's where you're going to maximize all life has to really offer. And so, Kelv, you can continue from here.
Man, that's even better, bro, because I'm happy you said that, because again, it's showing that you had exposure to both and you were allowed to see, okay, I see how, let's say the left side is the poverty side and the right side is the wealthy side. And so it's like you growing up, you were able to see both sides and be familiar with both sides. And then now you had the power to make a decision. What side do I want to be on? What side do I want my daughter to be on and my future kids to be on, right? And so that's so powerful. Like you said earlier, you were like, yo, like I wanted the best of the best. If I see another person doing it, there's no difference between them and Kojo. There's no difference between them and Calvin. If they can do it, I can do it too. God created us all equal. You know what I mean? If they can do it, I can do it too. So I love it, bro. So you're in school, you're studying, right? You're focused in on accounting, right? But you're seeing more things that interest you on the investment side, correct? Like the business investment side, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So when does foreign exchange pop up for you? Like when do you get wind of that?
Right. So it's funny, it's extremely funny how I stumbled upon Forex. So because of that dream of like, getting on Wall Street, getting on that investment side of things, so I went to study in Ghana, we have, let's say in US, you have the New York Stock Exchange, right? And then I don't know if the New York Stock Exchange would offer any program, but in Ghana, we also have the Ghana Stock Exchange, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Ghana Stock Exchange, they actually do offer a program, right,
wow.
to teach you and then that course is a professional course. It's not only teaching you how to trade on the stock market or invest on the stock market, but after you have that certification, you have that certification to allow you to be a broker, right? So yes, so it's a brokerage certification in Ghana, and then I pursued that course because I didn't know that was what it embodied. I thought it was just about teaching me about the stock market. But when I was one of the very youngest people to be because it was my first year in uni, and that program is not actually for youngsters. I was like 19 years when I enrolled in that program, but that program is for like people in their 35, 40. I mean, there's no limitation. Why I'm only saying that is that you must have had some industry experience to be able to actually understand everything in and out from what you're saying. But if you're extremely smart and then you're a youngster, you want to go for it, nothing really stops you though. You get me? Because when I went there, I was very young, like 19 years, and then I'm sitting with people in their 35, 40, 50 years, because that program is a required program, especially for bankers in some of the banking institutions that were there. If they're trying to get into their treasuries and trading department, the bank literally imposes on them that you got to go get this, degree or go get this professional course. It was only when I got into it that I realized that this is the mandatory program that they need to get, and it's more or less imposed on them by their bank than most time their own will. But I didn't care about that. I just came there because I wanted to learn and get that program, and then be able to understand how the stock market worked, and then pursue my career there, or maybe like level up from there to the US or UK or any well-developed market, and then level up from there. So that was like the whole intention, or the initial intention. Forex was nowhere in the mix, but when I got there studying, I realized that, tell you the truth, it was not what I expected, in the sense that our market is still a very young market. It has a lot to do to improve. But what it did was it also introduced me to other aspects of the financial market, which is like the bond market, which is like the treasuries, and then including FX market, which is a Forex market. And it was also a coincidence in that same era when I was studying for a stock exchange program, we also did a program in school and in my uni days, which was micro and macroeconomics, which was also talking about exchange rate. We were particularly dealing with exchange rates and exchange rate parity. And I was so much interested in economics. So it's like when we were talking about economies and exchange rate parity, I was always more like, I tell you something, when you come to Ghana, where I come from, right, our exchange rate is extremely, unpredictable, right? It has extreme volatility. Our economy is, we call it very dollarized, right? There's a term called dollarization. It's like the dollar affects almost everything we do back home,
Wow.
And then for inflation, it's almost always determined by the exchange rate, So think about it this way. What our currency's name is Ghanaian cedis, right? We spend cedis, and then you spend the United States dollars, right? In the year 2008, right? $1 was equivalent to one cedis, right? So that was what it was. It's not like I'm making it up. That was what it was. So if you had, let's say, if you were paid, let's say, $3,000 or $5,000 in the US, you were equally well off in Ghana, because when you bring your $5,000 to Ghana, it's still 5,000 Ghana cedis.
Right.
You get what I mean? The standard of living was equal. You get me? The standard of living was totally equal. Like it didn't make any meaning to leave Ghana and say I'm going to look for greener pastures in the US because I'm going to get paid more. At the end of the day, it's still the base value is the same.
It was the same thing at that time.
Now, let me see. We're in the year 2023 minus 2008. That's 15 years on. 15 years on, the same $1, it's equivalent to 13 Ghana cedis.
Wow, big difference.
That means that if you have the same 5,000 that we're talking about, it's no more 5,000, but 65,000 Ghana cedis, right?
Yeah.
So inflation, it's insane just in that short span. So a lot of things have increased. So because of that, I was also interested in the economic aspect or matters of my country, and then these was relating back to the currency market, so like it got me extremely interested in the forex aspect of things than only just like trading had not come in just yet, but it got me interested. Like I want to learn about the financial market, I want to learn about trade, the currency market, what really affects exchange rates and stuff like that, but pursuing all this was also the same means that led me into jumping into forex, but I wouldn't say it was only the entire thing that led me there, because one other motivation was also the fact that there was a particular period in my life where I was looking for means to make money online, because my dad was like, bro, you're getting of age, you got to like start fending for yourself. And then I didn't have any means to make money, I didn't know how to sell, I didn't know how to do anything. Only thing I could just do then was either work for somebody, work in a menial job. So I used to work as a waiter in some hotels. I even worked in the casino as well, right? I worked in the casino.
Wow. You were hustling, brother. You were hustling, man.
I worked as an insurance sales agent. I used to do all of this stuff. I'm like, I didn't want to do any of those things anymore, because I was coming of age and I was in the university. I didn't want to be doing menial jobs, It was just like me getting to that part of my life that I wanted to get to. So I didn't want to like just compromise on that. So I started looking for means to make money online. I'd learn about blogging, I'd learn about websites, all those funny stuffs online. And then trading was also mentioned. So like I connected the dots. I'm already learning this thing, and now looking for means to make money online. They're mentioning trading. So how do I start trading? Where do I start from? What do I do? I really started looking into it from there. And then it wasn't so straightforward. because first off, what I wanted to do was learn from a professional body. That was what I thought. Because the same way I looked up online and I got the Ghana Stock Exchange, I thought I could look online and got like some Forex exchange or something and go there and study.
That's what we all do.
There wasn't anything like that. So then I was like, how else? So I looked up online and I found one guy who was actually teaching how to trade in Ghana back then, long time ago. But his fees were insane. You know what he was charging to teach people then. I didn't have that. I mean, it was more like 5 times my school fees, my university school. There was no way my dad was going to like give me that money and say, go and learn how to trade, you know. So I didn't even bring up that conversation. I'm like, okay, no problem. I might as well like learn by myself, which is also one of the reasons why it took me a long time to understand the whole scope of the forex market. But it came also at a good advantage because I was self-studying, it let me learn so many, sometimes I would say unnecessary stuff, but it came in handy because today I can speak so deep in matters of those stuff when they are brought on the table because I used those years to learn them, trying to find what really worked. You get what I mean? Because I was self-taught, I was like, any material on Forex, I'm going to just get time and study them, you know. But today, because I've had all of these experiences, I know what works, what doesn't work for me, and then what I can separate and it's like anything you mentioned, I've had a feel of it, I've touched it before, I've read on it, so I can make like some meaningful sense out of it or explain it to somebody. So that's like that good thing that came out of that. But like that whole scope is what just literally introduced me to the world of Forex. What made me fall in love extremely with Forex is how the barrier to entry was bare minimum, you know. So being that I did finance, like I did really understand the real meaning of barrier to entry to any business, right? Most people don't really understand it or take I'd say prioritize how important it is when we mention barrier to entry. You know, let's say you want to start let's say a laundromat, right? You want to start a laundromat. You got to go find capital, go get a shop and go buy the laundry machines and stuff like that. It's a whole lot of processes involved, you know, before you can now say, okay, I own a laundromat business. Okay, you don't know how to trade. You want to be a trader. What have you got to do? Go freaking create a brokerage account, put in some $30, $100, $1,000. You're a trader.
That's it.
You know, that's it. You know, so the barrier to entry was insane for me. Like, wow, that's simple. You know, and then what made it even extra insane was the fact that when I withdrew, then I got my money, my profit back. Like, is this just about it? You know, it was insane for me because, like, you know, if you are an entrepreneur and you understand what it takes to make money, you know, you got to like advertise, sell to people, do this and that, and then, you know, and then before you can now, you know, get some sales and sit down and differentiate between your expenses and, you know, your sales, and then you say, okay, this is my profit. You know, as to trading, just put the money on the market, make the right decisions, you make some profit, you click it, that's it, you have your money. So it's like, where are your expenses? Where are your overheads? Literally non-existent. You know, as far as you have some good internet connectivity, you have a laptop, you can literally more like erode all of those, you know, backlogs of expenses or overheads, and then you suddenly have like your profit at hand, you know. So starting off, I didn't really start off with like those hundreds of thousands, you know. I was fortunate to be gifted money from a friend who lived in the States then. We were in the same high school in Ghana, and then she I mean, her parents live in the US, so she left somewhere along the line, and then we were really close, extremely close. We're still close though, right? We're still really close though. And then it was my birthday, and then she gifted me $300. Right now, I had studied. I had opened a trading account, and I did not even start trading with demo. I actually started trading with that $300. You know, when she gave me that money, because I just verified my trading account. I'm like, I just literally pushed that money in them. Like, I'm just gonna like practice how this thing works. You know, I had a few knowledge from one indicator from the RSI, right, Relative Strength Index. So I read a few things about them. Like, I'm just going to be using this. but I was also very cautious with lot sizing because I read about it. I was basically self-teaching myself everything before I practiced. So I read about margin, I read about free margin, lot size, equity, balance, and I understood all those basic stuff. So I was putting on very minimum lot size in 0.01, 0.02. I hardly ever crossed 0.1, but I was excited to collect that $2 profit, $3, $5 profit. And when it sums up to, let's say, at $20, then I'm going to withdraw. So my first withdrawal was like that reality to trading for me. The fact that I clicked that, okay, I've made some profit of $20 or $30. I want to withdraw. I want to see how real it is. And then I got that money, and then that money came into my bank account. Then it was like, I had entered a new dimension, a new phase of reality in the world. It was so real to me. I had not seen anything like that before. I remember telling my friends about it, like, bro, like, look at this thing. Look, Forex trading was so foreign. I don't know how to emphasize that enough. It's like somebody coming to you and literally talking about Web3 or some NFT, or I mean NFT is even quite read about today. But like, look at some futuristic things that people talk about. You're wondering, how does it work? Where do we go from here? Like, you don't freaking know anything about it. And it was the same thing when I was speaking about Forex to my friends. Like, what is these lines? How does it? So none of them were interested. Tell you the truth, none of them were interested in those early years, dude. Even though later they came back to become traders. Currently, all of them are full-time traders, though. But like in that initial year, which was 2012, 2013, none of them was interested. Anytime they saw anything related to chat or anything like that randomly, then they now labeled it Kojo's thing, right? So that was what they called it. They didn't even call it Forex. It's like Kojo's thing. You see Kojo's thing. I saw somebody doing some of Kojo, your thing. I'm like, no problem. They were heavily into sport betting, right? And they were doing good with that, though. They were making money. They were really making money. And then we'd go out, and then this guy would spend on me, just, but it was not really contributing anything. Before I started trading, I was not really, I don't want to be that guy who go out with his friends and they always the one taking care of bills and stuff. It's like that in a part of the world, though. People share a lot. So like you go out with your friends, they don't mind. They're just gonna, I wanted to also be like that guy who like, take some portion of the responsibility, and trading was that thing that did it for me. When I realized that I could just be in my room scalping and make my, $20, $50, $100, and then we go out and I can actually pay for some of the food, it was also a very emotional moment for me. So like that was just like my whole, encounter with trading. And then like from there on, everything was just like learning deeper and deeper about the whole scope of trading. From the year 2012 to 2016, trading was a hobby. Trading was casual. Trading was just like that, my little box of a thing that just produces me a little bit of money to live life. Where trading became serious business was from 2017. Right, 2016, I had gone out of school, so I was just like too much things going on in my head. Do I go back to the professional world? I went a little bit into the military. I was totally displaced in life, especially in the year 2016, 2017. But when everything didn't fall in place the way I wanted, like, I was already making, a little bit of money with trading here and there. And I've read a lot of, and I had now had a lot of experience, exposure, knowledge, and then I had grown too. So I've seen people, and then trading was also coming into that mainstream conversation, because 2012 it was not really there, but it's been years there coming into 2016, 17, 18. People are now speaking about it. I have this skill set already, if not even the best. At least I know how to collect some few money here and there from the market. Now I've got to that point where it's all about scale up, right? I got to sit down, figure out how to scale it up. And when it comes to the business of scaling things up, you got to be like very entrepreneurial and then straightforward thinking to know how to, if you have something that is working for you and then you're currently invested, let's say 10,000, but you know that this thing is so good, and Kelvin, you want to take that thing to 1 million. You got to sit down and make a game plan, and then you would figure out how to take that thing. If it's something good, if it's something scalable, something that's realistic, you'd reach there. And that was what it was for me. When everything didn't work, like, I'm now going to sit back, strategize. I used to make, my $50, my $100, my stuff like that. But I'm not in that phase anymore. I can't just still be excited about making the $50, $100. I'm getting to that point where I'm maturing. I got to be responsible for family. They took you through school. They're waiting for you to come back and take care of them. You still want to be in your hole and be comfortable with a $5, $10. When am I going to rent a place of my own? When am I going to buy a car? When am I going to start traveling and doing all? So I had to come up with like a scalability game plan, and then worked my way up all through it. So now, and I'm still working my way. I'm not even there yet. I'm still freaking working my way every day. But that's just like how I came into Forex, and then in a brief of that journey and experience. Yeah.
Wow, man. So very humble beginnings. We can already see like something I'm taking from your journey. And that's what I love about these conversations on the Forex Beginner podcast, is because like having people like yourself that have put over 10 years into developing this skill set, and, us having the opportunity, new beginner developing traders like myself that are also watching this, we have the opportunity to sit and really kind of dissect what things you did that made your journey work out for you, right? So we're talking over 10 years on this journey, and we can already see, number one, you were very intentional. Anything you dig into, like my boy Abdullah Rashid says, he says, I go deep. And it's very evident, Kojo, that you go deep in everything you do. Like, you're looking to master it. You're looking to be the best of the best. So obviously we see you came into this with the intention of, hey, I want to be the best at this. I want to do this at a professional level. We can see that. Now, having over 10 years in this skill set, what was the process from that first RSI strategy? How did you get to the point where you are now, where you have a set approach? You have a in-depth understanding of how to get in. You talk a lot about sniper entries and knowing how to call those bottoms and tops of the markets. How did you get to that point? Because you started with the RSI strategy, but how did you get to the point? Like, what did it take for you to get the in-depth understanding of market structure and how the market moves to get to where you are now? Of course, you're still growing. We know that, but you have reached a level right now where, man, you are very confident in what you do. So what was the process again to get to that point?
It's quite a lengthy one, but I'll try and then bring out as much details as possible.
Thank you,
so,
brother.
I did talk about the RSI stage, right? Now, remember I told you that in the uni years, all I was doing was like, self-studying, like learning by myself and then finding every information. And then you've also already emphasized and then recognized that I go deep into stuff that I'm interested in. So being that all that I had access to then was like the MetaTrader 4, in all through till probably 2017 or 18, most traders were not dependent on TradingView. It was just we analyzing our chart on the MetaTrader app itself. Trust me, like TradingView was only a thing from like 2018, 19. Everybody was just like doing their trend lines and Fibonacci and everything on the MetaTrader 4 app itself, not even the MetaTrader 5. It was heavily rigid. It's still the same way it is now.
Yeah.
But, and the fascinating thing, Forex market is like, it's like a bubble, It's not practically a bubble, but I want to just hopefully I make sense. It's like it has its own evolution, right? There are times where everybody's chasing one. You can see the whole industry is just going towards one direction, and it's just like meandering through that whole process. So there were times where people were extremely secretive about their specialized tweaked indicators on the MT4. They don't want to reveal it, like, okay, I combine this and this and this and this. It's my magical combination. You got to pay before I show you that magic keys.
That's so true.
And you'd love it. Like, people were, I used to chase. So before I even go into that or continue that, what they did for me was that because of that, it made me specifically understudy every single one of the indicators on the MT4. Right. So if you open the, like, let's say MT4 now, and then you come to the indicators section, you're going to see the RSI, the zigzag, stochastic, MACD, Ichimoku, Kelvin. I took time to research every one of them. I'm like,
every single one, Kojo?
Every single one of them. Every freaking single one of them. I'm like, who invented this? Where is he from? When was he born? How did he use it? What's the history behind it? Did he even make any much money out of it? What were the original periods the person was using? If it's like a moving average, or so that's like I'll be so interested in that, and then I put it on the chart and I practice it out for like a month or two. So you see me using the stochastic, you see me using the RSI, you see me using Ichimoku. I was like, I was just identifying myself. I was just like trying to find my own self, and I did it for a pretty damn long time. Now,
Wow.
so from there on, um, I identified a few ones eventually that was working for me though. It was pretty brilliant combination that I put together. And it was like that thing that I thought was my holy grail. I'll lie to you, like I thought I had found the key to my success in life and everything. A few combination. I can share with you. I can share with you. Help some. I know some people are using it. I did a little bit of video like that and put it out on my YouTube. Though. So it was like a combination of some indicator fractals. So it fell under one man who had been around in the market for a long time. It's called Bill Williams, right? So he literally invented a set of indicators. He had the alligator indicator, he had the fractals, and then he had the oscillator, right? So many traders use them without necessarily even knowing that Bill Williams is the one that created them. I see so many people putting them on their charts, but they've not really gone deeply into understanding who created them and what was his idea of the market, right? So with the fractals, right? So it's I don't know how to illustrate it, but it's like arrows, right? And then whenever a fractal appears, it's like the William is going to, his intention is to put a pending order above the fractal so that when the market really intends to break above or continue going up, then it had to come and like trade above the fractal triangle. It's an indicator on the MT for them. And so what I used to do was I'll put like a pending order above, and then you get a fractal, pick it up, and then the market pick it up and continue a little bit. It was really working heavily for me then, so but things change on the market. Today I can sit back and watch all the things that was working for me and those that were not working, and then really dissect why this one was working, why this one was not working. And I totally didn't have any freaking understanding about price action, market structure, highs, lows, consolidation market, retracement market, all those phases that we know today. I was just about, I found this indicator, it's telling me go up, I'm just going up. I couldn't even see things from that bigger picture, and then I didn't even know the real importance of even time frame per se, so it's like you could be on the, and I used to see people do that a lot when I used to when I started gaining that level of experience, right? When I started really knowing what I needed to know, I used to see people doing the mistakes that I was doing just some few years back, and I used to laugh. Today, I don't see so many people doing those mistakes anymore. It's insane how the industry has evolved, right? Now, you see, I was talking about the fact of where the industry has continuously been meandering through, like some path, like people that were chasing that indicator part. Then we had people that were chasing, I'd say some what was the name? Robots, right? EA, right? We got to that EA part. Everybody's like EA. And then we came to the sniper part, sniper entry, everybody looking for that strategy is going to give them entry at the top or the bottom. And then now we have the ICT, we have the SMC, and now it's the industry's conversation about prop firm. It's like that with trading. Everybody's like suddenly talking about something, and we've been through it all, up to now, we're still in it, so back to that indicator phase. That fractal did work, for me for a while. And then, like I said, being that I can point out what made it not really work was particularly about markets changing, right? So perhaps it was just in a macroeconomic perspective that was just letting the market behave in a particular way for a long time. That was also making the indicator work for a long time for me, And then when it suddenly changed, I was so dispersed. I didn't know where to go. The thing was not working. I was taking losses back to back. Bro, do I really have a career in this thing? What is difficult in trading is when things begin to go sour. If you're somebody who is extremely particular about life, and then you want to have it all figured out, and then your strategy begins to start failing. It's like your manager telling you, hey, your performance is below standard. We might as well replace you very soon. What are you going to do? You start thinking of what to do next. Are you going to look for a new employment? Are you going to put in extra effort to be good and impress the manager? It's the same with trading when your strategy starts falling up. So when I'm trading, my strategy is like back to back L's and stuff. Like, do I really still have a career in this thing? That's the only question I keep asking.
Yeah.
So I'd always ask myself, like, do I really have, and then I'd like pause on whatever I was using then I'd go into the journey of looking for a new thing, right? And that is that point where you need hard work, you need grace, you need experience, you need dedication, you need everything that you are embodied. It's not like one thing. Sometimes people are looking for, okay, teach me that secret. It's a combination of literally everything. Your own determination, your own hard work, your own perseverance, your own knowledge. And then one thing I don't want to even take out is how much you believe, whether you do or you do not, in discernment, right? Because it plays a major role with me when it comes to trading, even to date. Like I can be in a position, and then that discernment, inner person will speak to me, bro, you got to get out of. I listen to it. It doesn't matter how I'm following my strategy, follow your rules or whatever. I do listen to that inner, when I'm going to exit. Anyway, whether it goes 10,000, I don't care. I feel like that thing and it far more than not protects me from uncertain, unfavorable like results in the market, like a loss is done. Normally it would revert going back into profit. So that aspect of discernment would also like tell you to, or help you or guide you to see things differently than they were. Now these philosophies also come from some of the philosophical books that I read as well. It's not only about trading perspective per se, because I've seen, if we really read about, there's a book that I like to read called Socrates to Satir, right? It's like the book of philosophers from AD something to like the present philosophers that we have, right? Now you talk about Thales, we talk about Aristotle, we talk about, there's so many crazy names in those books. And then you realize that like there was a point in time where somebody, I think it should be Aristotle, wanted to observe gravity, right? Because then gravity didn't exist in the world. They didn't understand like, why a mango is just going to be hanging on a tree and suddenly just fall off. Or why is it that as a human being, when you jump, what brings you back down? Why can't you just keep going up like that? And this man literally sat by or under a mango tree for so many hours until like he spotted the exact moment where the mango dropped, and then he basically created a whole formula and stuff around, understanding gravity. You get me? So this is somebody's experience then in a different field. Now, when you bring it to trading, all the indicators that you're seeing here, Calvin, it was somebody who sat down and racked his brain to say, look at this moving average, look at this, I gotta put it together. And then now we are just like sheeps and then grabbing and like swallowing it. But how many of us in today's world have thought that I want to be the Bill Williams who was there for the new, I want to be the Ichimoku guy or whoever created the Hakenashi guy. People have stopped creating. People are now dependent. So I'm like, I wanted to be like, not only like that consumer part of the market, I wanted to be like, and that is where discernment comes in, because sometimes you need that discernment to see things that are totally different from whatever anybody else is seeing, and then, like create something out of it. It was like that deep part for me. So like I had that bit of a share in that indicator phase, and then I came to like the price action phase. So price action phase, like I gotta remove every indicator and start predicting the market just by the market itself or the candles itself. And that was a very difficult phase for me. It was totally foreign to me. I didn't understand like, how can I do that? How can I make it make sense? Because when I was using the indicator, right, I used to see people who were going to be talking about candlesticks this, candlestick that. And because I was using indicator, I used to always just trash candlesticks. right? I'm like, what is candlestick doesn't work, what is doji, what is, I used to just make fun of those things, right? But if I watch back today, what I realized is that I was heavily close-minded, right? I'd say I was very naive or not knowledgeable then, right? To be so close-minded that I can just talk trash on anything like that. I don't think anybody has the right to talk down on anything that works or does not work in the market. If you have something that is working for you, it is your truth. You cannot be extremely opinionated in the market. Anybody that does that, they've not gone that deep in trading. They just learned one or two things. Or they're looking for clout, or they have something to sell. Anybody that is extremely opinionated, this is what works, follow only this, and they're not mentoring you, you're not heavily under their tutelage, and then they're so opinionated. I don't think it makes sense, because like it's just finding your truth. I've had relationship and meetings and businesses and good friendship with guys who use some very funny indicators, and then they've made fortunes out of it. And I've seen guys who just use price action candles and stuff, and then they've made fortunes. And I've seen both of the two worlds who have also lost it all. I've also seen. So it's like you got to find what really works for you and then stick to it. So after those years, I lost that opinion in the market or in the world as well. I said to myself, there's no way you're going to find me and say, could you say, this is the best and the only one, you need to follow them. No, as far as it works for you, just like, but you would know. And that's where staying true to yourself comes in, because if you're true to yourself, that is where you're going to realize that, yes, I'm subscribed to this indicator. Yes, I'm subscribed to price action, but it's not working for me. I'm not grasping it. Okay, I've put in all the effort. I've put in the time, the work, at 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. I'm not growing. What do? I need to grow. How do you grow? Move on. So many people don't move on, and that's where you're not being truthful to yourself. And that was what I was with myself. Yeah. So it was very difficult for me to like stop using indicators because I was so used to it. It was just what I knew. Now it's like I have to like trade and then just speculate by candles. So, but being that I like already said, had challenged myself that there was no field that you're going to put me and then not do so well. Like I'm going to give myself some time. I also understood what it meant to be dedicated in life. Set time. Like there's nothing that you cannot do. It's impossible. It's not really in my dictionary if it comes to me. Impossible. I mean, it's a cliche. People say it, but do you really understand when you say impossible is not? But you must understand the formula that takes when you're saying impossible. It's not in your dictionary. And time is that difference. When there's no time factor, every human being can do anything they want. You can be greater than Elon Musk. But the only difference is that what time span do you have, right? Maybe it took Elon 30 years. It could take you 300 years. Are you going to be alive for the next 300 years to master and learn all the coding and stuff that Elon did early years? If time did not exist, you could be better than him. You get me? So I understood that principle in life, that time is the only thing that makes anybody better than me. Other than that, I can be better than or do as much as the person is doing. So when I apply those same concept and principle in trading as well, I want to practice something. I'm like, okay, maybe I've taken the person 3 years. I'm not as smart as the person, so I want to do it in 4 years. I want to do it in 5 years. It's my own journey. Nobody's holding me accountable to it. I'm holding my own self accountable to it. So I give myself 6 months to a year to master price action, like learn candlestick, learn literally everything about it. And the challenge with that was that there were times where I'd be learning the candlestick and then I'd take some losses here and there, and then I'd be like, why am I trying to like get into a new field when I have something that was working? Then it would just deceive me. That little voice would just speak to me, and then I go back to put in the indicators again. Then after a while, I'm like, why am I back? I wanted to improve on the candle. Why am I? Then I remove the indicator and go back. So it was a challenge in those brief periods until finally I got used to like not going back to the indicators and being able to like trade there on from there. But now, so it was not just about, do I want to use indicators? I don't want to use indicators. That was not a challenge. The challenge was, what was I looking for that the indicators could not do? So now I had just given myself some time to observe the market from that price action perspective, and I have now come to understood the whole nature of movement of the market in that random walk of movement. It goes up, suddenly comes down, and then goes up and suddenly come down. And then now I also understand basic use of the pip range. So you can just point out your pip from the top and pull it all the way down and pull it back up and say that, okay, with this swing, it made 500 pips. With this swing, it made 200 pips. Like, that's money, So pip became money for me. You get me? It was not just about the $100 or $200 for me anymore. It was just about getting excited about seeing that long strip of movement that when I drag my pip range calculator, I'm seeing, let's say, 150 pips. I'm asking myself, like, it doesn't matter what lot size you intended to put there, but this is how far the market went, and that is opportunity that you had to be successful within that short range of period. And then you're going to look at another currency pair and you see that it moved, let's say. So I was always excited about like that distance the market traveled than just even money by itself when I started really looking at price action, So I'd come by the market and miss some moves, and then I'm like, I'm so mad at myself. And then what did I say I missed? I didn't say I missed, but I'm like, I missed money because now the movement was translating into money for me, Now, how that shaped my strategy was I was seeing those movements and I was telling myself that the indicators were predominantly, let's say, the move randomly calculating from the top to the bottom was about, let's say, 200 pips, right? The indicators were allowing me to capitalize from 100 pips going down or 70 pips going down, for the most part. So now mathematically, I was like, where's the rest of the 100 pips or where's the rest of the 120 pips? That means I did not have that knowledge that allowed me to get that or utilize or maximize that move. I didn't have that knowledge that allowed me to maximize that whole strip of movement that the market did, and that was when I started answering those questions. I started asking myself, like, how can I look at the market in that whole scope and see that up, down, random movement, and then use that little bit of a knowledge that I have to be able to get in at the very top or getting at the very bottom and then maximize and capitalize on that whole movement. So it was not just about the excitement of the sniper or this and this, which is so cool. I mean, it comes in handy. It's nice to get, but that was not the concept. The concept was just about, getting in at that very and then capitalizing on those. And it took me a lot of time to practice. And then I had so many things that were making meaning and then I'd say contributing to making those decisions. But I had to eliminate a lot of them to simplify my perspective, to simplify my perspective. And then I was also doing this in consideration of not just myself alone, but people around me. And then even back home, because like trading was foreign. How can I now go and learn some complicated things and then come and sit in front of somebody and say, go and learn this and do this? And then, like the way people learn some crazy concept and be labeling stuff, it's okay though. I mean, but I was thinking to myself, if I'm learning that I want to understand it well, I want to just go and even sit by my grandmom and talk to her about trading. And then the same way I'm going to explain my thought process of finding trades, she's going to understand it and say, okay, wow, this makes sense. I want to be a trader as well. That was the thought process that I came from when I was building my own strategy. It was not just about myself saying, oh, I know what I'm seeing, but I cannot explain it. We have guys that say that I wanted to be able to like explain it and let it have. If you cannot explain it, it doesn't have a logical thought process.
Yeah, definitely.
The strategy must be logical. Like, okay, why are you seeing this? Why did you buy here? Why did you sell here? Like, what were you looking for? So if I see it the next time, I can recall that this is what he was talking about, and this is why I am looking for this. Not just rigid, okay, high of this, low of this, take it. I'm like, why am I taking the high of this and low of this? No, just take it. No, I cannot just take it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. It must make sense to me. Everything must make. So things started really making sense to me. And that's how come, that whole influence came in from there. And that's how I built my strategy. But it's been I said it was long, but I tried to make it short.
Bro, you have literally, listen to me, bro. You have literally just taught us how to learn how to trade Forex. Like going through every single indicator, indicator by indicator, studying who made the indicator, what type of trader were they, how much money did they make. Bro, you're going deep right now. You're going really, really deep. So somebody may be listening right now like, Calvin, okay, great interview. Obviously, Kojo has a lot of insight, but what has all of this study and all of this preparation, all of this mindset, all this wisdom that he has, what has that done for him? So I want to ask you right now, my brother, if it's okay, tell us, what has this skill set done for you in your life? Tell us, bro.
I'll talk to you.
Talk to me, brother. Talk to me, brother.
Now, like if you see, we live in very different worlds, right? We live in extremely different. But I'd want you to visit Ghana sometime. I'll host you. You should explore. Have you been to Africa before?
I have not, but I am totally open to doing it.
Time you want, just tell me, bro. I'm in Dubai currently, but if you say you're going to Ghana next week, I'm going to book a flight and go.
Oh, bro, listen, we definitely gonna do that. We gonna exchange contacts, and I'm gonna keep you posted. I'm for real, bro. We gonna do that.
I want you to see the motherland. I want you to appreciate it. Trust me. And you're going to also see the stuff that we've done for ourselves from where we come from, and it's insane. Now you're saying what I've done for myself, right? It's a lot, but I'll try to make public the ones that I want to make public. Even the ones that I've never made public on certain platforms, I'll try and make them public here as well. Now, where do I even start from? Properties are the most important for me, though. You know, it's what gives you that solid foundation, right? I have vast amount of properties, you know, landed properties. I have acres of land, you know, that I have like some specific projects I'm doing for. I have a real estate company back home, very huge one, you know. Yeah, that are doing massive stuff. I literally built my own house, and I was using my house as a prototype for what I wanted to do.
Wow.
So my first house, I bought them, right? I have an apartment, I bought them. I have a house that I bought, and then I have it's a villa, right? A huge house that I built, but I built that house more like a challenge for what was going to come off from my project, my real estate company. My real estate company is called Swift Development, right? Now, if you understand the real meaning of the word Swift, it's like fast, right? So if you look at that huge house, and then anybody who's been in construction for a long time asks them, how long do you think this is going to take? They're going to tell you, like, I've taken bare minimum 1 year or 2 years or stuff like that. It literally took me about 4 months to finish that whole thing. 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, that's swift. Yeah, that's really swift right there.
now it's freaking swift if you think about our construction phases or projects. You know, when it comes to the US, so many of their construction materials are woods and stuff like that. Our place is no woods; it's bricks and mortar. And then like you're doing casting, and it takes time. You know, so for you to be able to do all those things, and then in that short period of time, you know, you can't skip the process in those construction phases. You have to go through them. You know, so that's like one thing that I have on the side. And then I have a savings and loans as well, right? So I have a savings and loans business that literally borrow money to small scale businesses.
Right? That's big business right there, brother. Woo!
Incredibly well as well. And then when it comes to the professional spaces, I have registered a few, you know, tech companies, right, that are doing insanely well. And then for me as well, I'm also getting into, like I said, from the onset, getting to the real estate space. And I said real estate, the hedge fund space, right? So it's like I'm making all those back end preparations and investments and stuff, well, including even like investments in education to get there. So I'm currently also doing my master's on the side as well. Now, when it comes to like the cars and stuff like that, I have quite a number of them, you know, the Mercedes, the BM, Range Rover. Now, with me, when it comes to money, I value money, right? And as a businessman, I understand, like, you know, what we call depreciation, right? So as much as it's so fun to have the cars and be proud of them in the industry, I'm not so big on them, you know, because I know that the value is just going to erode after the next 1 year, 2 years. And nobody's just going to even be hyped about them as to putting them into property. Look, the first property that I bought, and even the apartments that I have, they've tripled in value in the last 2 years, which is insane.
That's insane. Yes, it is, bro. Wow. Congratulations.
So it's nice to have them when you want to have them, but I'm not too invested. Like, I'm just trading to want to buy the next big car, next big this. I have one guy, he's very influential in a part of the world. He owns incredible skyscrapers around, and then I was fortunate to have opportunity to like sit with him and talk. And he has so many beautiful cars. I pointed to one of his cars, like, I want to buy this car from you. The history behind that car, he bought it from Cristiano Ronaldo. Right?
Wow.
It's a Lamborghini. So it's like, it's a statement. Yes, you've had it for a while. I want to buy it from you. So like, could you buy it from me? How much do you want to put on the table? I told him, it's like, bro, because he knows I'm into property development as well. Bro, go develop some more projects. Go develop some more projects. It's not worth it. That's a brother talking to me. He's old. He's older than me. He's very influential. His name is I Am Freedom. You can look him up. His Instagram is just straightforward. I am freedom, right? IAM and then freedom, right? He reached out to everybody in the world, and then they're gonna come. He brings all the A-list artists to Ghana. He's very, very powerful, very influential. So he inspired me. He told me not to just. But other than that, when it comes to I'd say a slow growing investment like bonds, like treasuries, I have a hefty amount of money in holdings in bonds, in holdings in treasuries. So I'm basically imploring my financial skills, in the world. And I have a hefty holding in cryptos as well, right? When it comes to cryptos, so it's something we call the boom bust theory, right? So it was a theory propounded by George Soros. So I'm big on books as well, as you may know, and then like we call it the reinforcing theory, right? So for any asset class to stand the test of time and then be recognized normally as a trading asset, right, it must go through that boom bust theory phase, right? Like literally rebouncing back and then being reinforced, right? If you date back into history of NASDAQ, US 30, even gold, right? They've all gone through their evolution of the boom bust theory, right? Go all the way back into 1970, 1940s of the NASDAQ, and you're going to see where they're going to really gain price, gain value, and then suddenly there's a huge crash, right? And then everyone's like, this thing is never going back up again, blah, 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 blah. They're going to make so much fuss about it, and then it's going to reinforce itself and then come back and trade above those highs and create new highs. And after some years, all those old people may have been dead and gone, and then the market is just going to tank again and then reinforce itself. And then suddenly, it's like the world understand that even when it drops, it's still going to come back up again. You get it?
Yeah.
Now it's the same phase that most of the cryptos are in. We're in that era where they need to reinforce. They need to prove themselves of being able to self-reinforce themselves, in that phase where they've gone up, we made a fuss about it, and then now they've suddenly just tanked. So I'm also heavily invested in crypto. I want to be part of that history when it should just, rally back up. Nonetheless, I'm only risking capital I can afford to lose anyway. So if it never even comes back, bro, I'm good in life, So yes, I have like my wealth positioned in so many. And in my trading account as well, I really have some very handsome figures sitting in my trading account, so I'm comfortable.
Bro, listen, man. You are amazing, bro. Like, that is phenomenal, man. You have literally used this skill set to build so many different businesses, so many different income streams, and you're essentially building a legacy for your family, bro. Your family will always remember you because you are building something that will last years and years and years past your lifetime. That is amazing, man.
Like legacy is the word, legacy. So many people come into trading, they don't think about longevity and legacy. They're only thinking about, okay, how can I just, make this bucks or make this. We spoke about it briefly, but it's a career, When we're talking about trading as a career, it's a conversation that I don't think anybody has emphasized so much on. And I think that you're even the best person to bring this conversation to the platform. You're a family man, bro. Congratulations to you. 2 kids, expecting the third one, right? You have a roof over your head. You're responsible for your wife, for your children. You want to be the father to them, like you said that you didn't have. It means that you're responsible for taking them to the best of schools. They never want to wake up and be like, do we have what we want to eat? Because daddy is supposed to provide it for us. And then you have like insurance for them, you entertainment needs, literally everything, medical needs, clothing, and what else can I even mention? And bro, the insane thing is that if you put that simple title, I'm a full-time trader, what it then means is that you're expecting all the aforementioned things to be catered for by the market. How hard is it, bro? You get me? If you have a rent, it must come from trading. If you have to pay your child's school fees, it must come from trading. If you want to buy clothing, so with that, I think of trading. That's what we really mean when we say think of trading as a business, But it even goes beyond that. Think of trading, be like an employee to the market. It's easier for people to rather take it from that perspective than they think of it like a business. Because how many people really know how to run businesses? Not a lot of people know how to run, but so many people are easy to be employees. So if it's hard for you to think of trading as a business, think of it as an employee. How do you think of it as an employee? If you're employed in a business, you're expecting that at the end of the month, my manager, whether the company has made money or not, they're supposed to pay me. Yes, we signed a contract. You're supposed to give me $5,000, $3,000. I don't care what the book says. I need my money. That's your responsibility in the market, in the sense that you should carve out like some more like you can carve out a specific amount you want the market to pay. I mean, it's not realistic, but you should know that how it's going to help you is that your day-to-day expenses. You know how you live your life. Okay, if you look at me, I'm paying this, I'm doing this, and then at the end of the day, I need at least $1,000 to be able to like take care of my needs and then myself. You must find a way to cover that expenses up from the market before you can call yourself a full-time trader. And not just being able to do it once, being lucky to flip an account one time and be like, yes, I did it. Finally, I'm a full-time. Bro, the next 2 months, 3 months, if it doesn't work that way, you go back to your village. It doesn't work that way. You need to be able to prove yourself beyond doubt. 3 months, you're on it. 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year. Then you can confidently start even putting things out there. I'm a full-time trader. Because you've done it, you've tested all the troughs, ups and downs, and then you can be confident and you can actually raise a family from trading. If you don't think that way, you're going to only be appreciating dreams, and people are going to sell you freaking lies and nonsense out there. It's real, it's hard. People don't speak too much about this, but I feel like so many youth are just being swayed into this direction, and sometimes when you speak about these things, people don't get it. So like sometimes it's okay, I don't want to talk about it. I'm living my life. I have my own part. And I have where I'm going. So if I can just influence in this way, those who are taking it positively are taking it. Those who are not listening, I'm just still going. But I know how it is. It's not only about my experience as a trader and then knowing how to catch the bottoms and tops. I think every day, currently, because of my child, my mom, sister, and niece are here with me. I had to pay a lot of money, tickets, this accommodation. They're not even living here with me and my wife. They're living somewhere else. You're a trader, you got to provide for that. Yes, you cannot just assume that Kojo millions are supposed to like not have financial problem. I have grown up from the struggles up to this point. And even till now, I'm extremely frugal about my expenses, because the way I'm making money, okay, this and that, if it doesn't seem to work anymore, what is the solution, right? And there was even a conversation that came up a few days in a roundtable conversation that I was having with a few business partners. And then one was raising the fact that he had a friend who was doing extremely well, and suddenly, like, he was trading as well. Suddenly he had an eye problem. He couldn't see properly.
Wow. You never know. Like you said, you never know. Wow.
What are you going to do? What preparation have you done? What savings have you done? What investment have you done? Like, that is the challenge that we got to think about. If it's not even yourself, your mom, your dad, they're all aging, our parents. If they're suddenly hospitalized and you have to take some crazy amount of money, like, what is the game plan? You know, and now, like, I have a newborn, you know, so many years ahead for this baby. What is, we have to be serious in how deep we think about using the word full-time trader than we just throw it around. And once you don't think about it from that employee perspective, you're going to be living in a wild dream until life and time and age catches up with you. Then you say, I wasted my time as a trader and I wasted my this. And then you're going to be a part of the negatives. You say, oh, trading, no, forget about that thing. I'll advise you don't go into it. But because you didn't really think about life and trading, like, to tell you the truth, if things didn't figure out or things didn't fall in place the way I wanted it, right? In the last 3 years that I gave myself after 2017, bro, I would have been employed, and I'll be proud to be employed. I don't mind. Because I gotta live life. I gotta grow. I gotta just grow. That's the point. I gotta get married. I gotta just grow. So I'm still like chasing this indicator formula, and it's not working. I'm not growing. Like no, I gotta still do it. No. Your mates are in different places, linking up, and you're still like, life is like you're missing out in life. So when it did work for me, and the amount of effort and focus, it takes for it to work, it's not talked about enough. The grind, the proper grind, the headache, the mental agony that you got to go through to make it work, it's not talked about enough. Until people go deeply into it, you're going to only be chasing dreams. I think I'd add only that one. Yeah, we can move on from there.
Wow, bro. You blowing me away. So how long have you been married? How long has it been?
3 years.
3 years. Congratulations, man.
No, actually,
Congratulations.
I've been married for, I'd say, a year, but I met my wife 3 years ago. So sometimes when you ask me, because of the way our relationship is, I feels like I've been married for 3 years, but I've actually been officially married for 1 year. But yeah.
Congratulations, man. Ladies and gentlemen, what more can I say? Kojo Forex has blessed us in a phenomenal way. My brother, thank you so much for your time. And before you get out of here, I really want you to speak from the heart and give us, and I say us because I'm still developing myself, right? I'm still falling short of what I came to Forex to achieve. So please give us some motivation from the heart that can help us stay motivated, stay encouraged, and stay locked in to our journey, because all of our journeys are different. Give us some motivation. And then after you do that, I definitely want you to share with us where we can follow you and keep up with your journey.
Right. So I think I've touched on basically the most important ones, but maybe what I'll just do is re-emphasize. Trading is not a walk in the park type of a game. For anybody that tells you that, they're not telling you the full truth. It requires a lot of dedication and hard work. We make a joke about saying, oh, look at doctors, it takes them 7 years, blah, blah, lawyers, it takes them 8 years. Why do you think trading is going to take you 2 months? But that's the reality, and you can either, I'd say, lengthen your learning curve or shorten it. And then that's where mentorship comes in, and so many people think that when we mention the word mentorship, it's just about, I got this man's score, so I'm in his mentorship. Mentor, like the way we having this conversation, I have this conversation with people that are trained how to trade. They need to understand like the life aspect of trading. It's not about the candles and this and buy this and that. Like, it's not enough. You have to understand their level in life. Are you working while you're trading? Are you a full-time trader? Do you have something going on? What is your responsibility? I speak to my people, understand their level, their perspective, their challenges, and that's where you're going to be able to guide them and then, shape them to what really would work best for them on the market. You can't always impose your lifestyle or perspective onto somebody. They can pick some major key from there, but be able to guide them to shape it their way. And that's where, like I said, basically like mentorship comes. So if you want to figure out this for yourself, it can take you decades. That's why I always say that it took me a while to figure it out, because I had to understand this whole scope. It included even learning from others as well. By the end of the day, it came together for me. Can it come together for you if you're trying to do it by yourself? If it can, kudos, just go on with it. But this is what you must think about, And then the other thing that I'll say is, like, I think I've said it already, more like understanding trading. If you can't think about it from the businessman point of view, an entrepreneur, think about it from an employee point of view, and just know that it takes a lot of dedication, hard work to continuously do what we do. I said something on Twitter a few minutes ago. Let me just refer back to it. I was saying that what I just say was that there's always a lot of hard work behind the flashiness. Don't get too distracted. There's always a hard work behind the flashiness. So you're going to see Kojo is living in Dubai, Kojo is living in this, he's traveling. Bro, there's freaking hard work behind that flashiness. Don't get too distracted. Don't look at it and say, look at this man, he has this. You must first think about, what is it doing behind the scenes? Before you're talking to me about consumer trades, I was thinking, I was in the meeting, I was creating some website, I was doing so many stuffs about, 5 to 10 stuffs concurrently. And I'm like, I paused all of them and said, I have a meeting, I gotta attend to them. But when I come online, I'm going to post me and myself and my wife on dinner, traveling and stuff. You're like, look at this man. You're not thinking about what he's doing behind the scenes. People got to appreciate that one as well. That's just all I have to say to people.
And also let us know where we can follow you and keep up with your journey, bro.
So basically all my social media handles are Kojo Forex. KOJOFOREX is one word. No underscore, no one, nothing, just KOJOFOREX on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Well, I'm not so big on Facebook and I don't like it as well. There are a lot of people that impersonate me. So don't follow me. And on YouTube as well. KOJOFOREX, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Calvin, the new trader, Kojo FX. Another amazing interview. Kojo, man, again, bro, thank you so much for your time, man. I know it's nighttime over there in Dubai, and I definitely want you to get back to the family, man. But thank you so much, my brother. And listen, I'm gonna hit you up, man, because we definitely gonna set up that trip to Ghana. And man, I'm just so thankful that you were able to come on and just bless us. It's not every day that you see a young brother that literally, like, you can literally be my brother. You know what I mean? That looks like me, that comes from a similar background like me, that's been able to build literal legacy wealth, like literally legacy wealth, bro. And I'm proud of you, and I thank you for what you're doing. And again, thank you for your time. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Calvin, the new trader. Another episode of Forex Beginner Podcast. I look forward to running into you at the bank one day, but you cannot meet me there. You got to beat me there. When me and Kojo pull up to that bank, you should already be walking out, duffel bag on your shoulder, big smile on your face. That's our way of saying we believe we all are going to be successful. Till next time, God bless you. Take care. And I'll holla at you later. Peace.